Hey, beautiful souls, beautiful sunshine here with the R Holistic Healer, aka Sonia B. So I am back with this prophetic message. I had 3 other messages that I forgot to deliver, and as I was eating my lunch, God had reminded me, right? Because I thought I'd written them all down, but I guess I didn't. But anyway, so with that being said, let me get straight into the message. But I just want you to know this is the second time doing this video, so I'm already keeping the cards that had already came out, and I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. So anyway, I'm just having to re-record this video over again because I realized I read the wrong page in the book, should I say, when I did the last video. But anyway, so with that being said, the first message that I received this morning was the other prophetic messages that I did. They actually came through over the weekend and on Friday. Okay, so I'm giving you the message that came through this morning today. So in this dream, I saw that somebody may be going to an event or maybe somewhere with somebody else where it seemed like maybe 3. I got the number 3. There was 3 people. 3 people are kind of in agreement on the same thing. They're not necessarily agreeing with what's being said. I don't know if there's some sort of seminar, conference. It could be something pertaining to some sort of event where there's other people around. But, you know, I got the feeling like two people who were together was looking at the third person like kind of across the table in a sense like they're not agreeing with anything that they were saying. Or I'm also hearing spirit say too that they don't understand necessarily what somebody's saying because it could be kind of like going over their head. And if that's the case, that's okay too. Nobody is right and nobody's wrong. They're entitled to their opinion because sometimes we may be learning new things or that we don't necessarily agree with, or what I'm hearing, thank you Spirit, or what I'm hearing Spirit say that sometimes it's a little hard for people to fathom, you know, a lot of things that could be taking place, whether it's something in the mystical world, metaphysics world, or, you know, just the spiritual world in general, tongue twisted, in general, okay? So with that being said, it's okay if they disagree, okay? But anyway, and then the next message that I received, it came through as if this was a situation of like, let's just say, because the way God gave it to me as I was eating my lunch, right? He was like, you forgot to do this video. I was like, oh, shoot. But then he also reminded me too, like me and my kids sat down and watched King Richard this past weekend, right? And what he was bringing to my attention was when in the movie, okay, let me explain the dream first. So first of all, in the dream, I heard a mom blessing a child, okay? It wasn't a typical blessing, but the mom basically said that she was going to give her inheritance to that particular child, okay? Like, I'm leaving my inheritance to you. In other words, so whatever the inheritance could be, you know, whether it's spiritual inheritance or whether it's physical inheritance. For some people, it may be a physical inheritance. And so for some people, it could be a physical as well as a spiritual inheritance, okay? You know, take it how it resonates. But the point of the matter is sometimes, and in case some of you guys don't know this, but if let's just say if your parents have psychic gifts or whatever the case may be, or psychic abilities or whatever type of, let me say, not just say psychic abilities, but let me say spiritual gifts, okay? Whatever the spiritual gifts may be, whether it could be spiritual gifts of intelligence, whether it be spiritual gifts of wisdom, spiritual gifts of knowledge, spiritual gifts from discernment, spiritual gifts of clairsentient, clairaudient, you know, all those, you know, 6 different senses or whatever the case may be. And it could be the spiritual gift of manifesting things into reality, like instantly. You know, it could be different. Everybody has different spiritual gifts. It could be spiritual gifts of teaching, you know, whatever. But the point of the matter was, I heard a mom said that she was going to pass her inheritance, or she was talking to her daughter. And this could be something that's actually being done, again, physically, or this could be something that's being done spiritually, because sometimes our higher selves are communicating with other people, whether we're not, let's just say, if we're not communicating with them in person, sometimes we could be communicating with them in our sleep form, okay? So with that being said, you know, you guys heard of telepathy and all that other stuff, right? So, I mean, things like that. So sometimes our higher self are communicating, again, with other people, loved ones, you know, family members, or, you know, spouses or children, take it how it resonates. But anyway, so again, somebody's going to be left an inheritance. So whatever the mom's inheritance is, and it just specifically came through as like feminine energy, okay? Feminine archetype. So usually Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so what I'm hearing is because mom usually birthed the kids or whatever. I'm not saying that you don't get spiritual gifts from dads, but usually whatever abilities mom have, that's usually also passed down to the children. But apparently, in this instance, whether it be a situation of maybe your mom, bear with me here, because you know there's a scripture in the Bible. I think I forgot his name. Let's see. Jacob and Isaac's dad. Forgot his name. Let's see. Wait, was it Jacob and Esau or Jacob and Isaac? Oh, it's Isaac the dad? One of the two. Anyway, I'm not going to start quoting wrong. But nevertheless, one of the brother, the dad was... Nevertheless, the dad was about to bless one of the brothers, and then the mom basically brought the other brother's hand in there and put like a fake, wool on his arm, to make it seem like he was his brother in a sense. So in other words, one brother inherited the other brother's birthright, in other words. So the dad got upset because basically the mom tricked them into swiping birthrights with the brother, should I say. But basically they both end up, being successful in some sort of way. It probably wasn't in the way that they wanted to, but they both end up inheriting something, okay? But anyway, this came in a form, as I said before, a situation like that. So in some instance, let's just say that maybe your parents may have already blessed another sibling, whether they told you or not, or some of you may have even heard this parent tell you that they blessed such and such. And then I know in this instance where it could be a situation of like, well, what happened to me in a sense? Excuse me. So I say all that to say that if that was some information that was shared to you verbally in person, let's just say that that person is kind of making their wrongs right in a sense, because again, as I said, they were basically saying that they're leaving their inheritance to you. So whether it's be the inheritance of they're the blessed one of again, any type of spiritual gifts or just any inheritance that they got stored up spiritually, basically is basically saying that that's going to be passed down to you in a sense. So again, whether it's actually money in this present lifetime, or whether it's when, because we all have a day and time that we do leave this earth, and then I don't know if that happens then, but anyway, I just want to let you guys know. So anyway, the inheritance basically is there. So anyway, and what else did I receive? Okay. Oh, thank you, Spirit. So, God also wanted me to bring this to your attention as well, too, because we had saw the movie King Richards, like I said, over the weekend. And basically, you can chalk this up to this situation. So you remember how Venus started off playing first, but they were both playing together as Dad was teaching them to play, but they only said that they could take one, and it was basically Venus, which is the oldest one. So I guess Dad felt like he couldn't put the younger one ahead of the older one. So basically, Serena kind of had to wait, but she was kind of doing things off to the side on her own. And she told her dad she wanted to, she wanted to play too. So her dad basically told her when she was standing in between the walkway of the stadium, should I say, he told her to take it all in, because he saved, basically in so many words, he saved her for last, because he knew that she was going to be great. I can't remember his word for words, but he knew that she was going to be great. Not saying that the other sister wasn't great, because she was also great too. It's just to the point that she was going to be doing even more. So in the way I saw this is God was placing it in my spirit, like kind of like how God says that he always saves the best for last. Okay. So take that how that resonates. But anyway, the last message that I received was somebody is going to have some sort of abrupt changes. And I want to say that this was pertaining to a husband and a wife, but I'm also hearing to just remain open, because it could happen to anyone who maybe, let's just say, if you're not married, but you have a partner and you're staying together and you got kids together, it could be a situation that it could be happening in the event of that situation as well too. So anyway, thank you, Spirit. So anyway, with that being said, I saw that this person needed to leave abruptly. It's almost like they was leaving their wife, partner, and child behind, but they were leaving them and asking, I guess, a friend of theirs or a friend of the family to kind of watch over them and protect them for whatever reason that they needed to leave. But I heard him saying in so many words, like, don't go back home. So I don't know if this don't go back home is a representation of don't go back home to where maybe like where you were actually from, maybe like where you were born and raised, or your actual physical home at that moment. Because I got the feeling like it was some sort of sense of urgency. But he basically told her that I was going to meet back up with you. But the way God was showing it to me was, in my dreams, it's almost like he was just drawing a circle. So it's going to start at this point to where he's leaving, and then somehow they're going to connect back paths with each other. If you think about a beltway and it goes in a circle, in a sense, like they were going to meet back up with each other. And honestly, the way I received this message was, this was a situation of stepping out on that fool's journey, in a sense, kind of like what I said earlier about just going through different things and learning yourself in the process and experiencing life, in a sense. And it's almost like, so if you're being separated from certain people at this point, it's either there's a situation that they're gonna meet back up with you if it was meant to be, or it's a situation, it's gonna happen that they're gonna meet back up, and then others is gonna be to the point that they're gonna fall away, should I say. So anyway, but with that being said, those are all the messages. So let me I got the cards right this time. I mean, the cards were already right. I just read the wrong thingy. So let me just redo this again so I got the right page. Anyway, so the card we have here is Beyond the Mind. And it says basically, think with your heart, being present, heart and mind connections. Meditate the bliss of being quieting the monkey mind, fathoming the unfathomed, finding happiness within, going beyond intellectual limitations. The mind is a wonderful tool for moving us through the logistics elements of life so we can function in the world. However, it is endless chatter, self-doubt, limiting stories, and subconscious programming can also keep us in our suffering, okay? So if you guys been listening to the monkey chatter and, just finding yourself being stuck, again, you can just keep yourself in that same cycle going if you don't change the way you think, okay? And that's just a part of the lesson. You have to change the way that you think. Nobody can do that for you. God's not coming to do that for you. This journey is about self-healing, so you have to do the work. So again, when you take a couple of steps, God will take a couple of more steps, or 3 more steps, should I say. But you first have to take the steps and do the work, because God is not here to save us from the things that we are fearful of doing. We have to conquer the fear, and that's what we were meant to do. That's the only way you're going to find yourself moving forward. Not, you're going to find yourself stuck. And all I see, Spirit got a sense of humor. All I see is somebody getting old. And although don't let this, not my real gray hair, but just imagine getting old and growing old by yourself because you're just stuck on that hamster wheel and you don't know how to get off, okay? God's not coming to take you off the hamster wheel. You have to take yourself off. And when he sees you take yourself off, then he will make steps, okay? Anyway, so limiting stories and subconscious programming can also keep us in our suffering. One of the fundamental problems with the mind chatter is that it takes us out of the present moment. Yes, we have to learn how to practice that mindfulness that I told you that God said to do before, staying present in the moment and not keep rehashing the past, what somebody did or what they're doing now, but having a different mindset going forward and changing the way you think, okay? Because it first starts here. It starts with a thought. That thought then produces in your heart. You start to either and then next thing you know, you start to act on it. What you want? Stuff like that. So I'm just giving you an example. But anyway, it's the trickling effect. So as soon as we are in the past or future, we can no longer be we can be our most empowered in the present. When we are stuck in the past or worrying about our future, we are not in command of our now, okay? So God wants us to enjoy each step along the way, not dragging the past in the present moment, but staying present, like right now. All we are doing is dragging our energy and removing ourselves from the beauty of the incredible moment where anything is possible. That is not to say we shouldn't plan for the future or honor the past. This message is about bringing our awareness to the present We are naturally wired to be everywhere but the present moment. Just as we would exercise to keep our bodies fit and healthy, it is useful to practice being here and now, learning to find inner space and of peace and silence, regardless of external circumstances, is one of the greatest gifts we can cultivate for ourselves. And I can be the one to tell you, Lord knows, I be having to tune people out. I had to tune somebody out this morning and put on my blinders. And, I'm just saying that's just my situation, just with certain things, because I realize that past can kind of just haunt you a little bit. And I'm trying to stay focused on the present now and not allow others' energy to distract me, should I say. But anyway, much of the Western culture and society pivots on a mind-based paradigm. This has served us in getting from A to B in a very linear way, but it is not holistic, and the cracks are starting to show. We learned that logic is always the right approach. However, more and more people are feeling unfulfilled, unhappy, and anxiety, even though we are living more comfortably and with fewer threats. Okay, what can we do about this? The answer is learn just to be. Even just for 10 minutes of your day, there are many techniques to help you to quiet the mind. Find the one that works for you, and as your eternal world becomes more peaceful, conscious, empowerment, and meaningful, empowered and meaningful, so too will your external world. They are interconnected. True bliss is experienced completely and utterly in the present moment. In essence, it is the feeling we spend so much of our life seeking. Ironically, we have access to this feeling always without external stimulants or concepts. Allow everything to drop away so you are present. It can take some work, but present and bliss are totally within your grasp. Okay, so basically the overall meaning of this card is, let's say, comedy-driven society tells us we need to seek things outside of ourselves to feel safe and happy. This thing keeps us out of the magic. The enlightened soul knows there is so much more. Okay, so take steps outside of your mind-based concerns and limitations. Looking at things in an overall logic way will hinder you and obstruct access to your superpowers. You may be transfixed by a past experience. The past may be running you and making your mind spin so you cannot see what is really in front of you. Consider what your heart and your gut are telling you. Step back and clear your mind. Meditate in your own way. Contemplate what the situation at hand would feel like if you released all fears and worries. Are these concerns even yours? Okay, so sometimes you have to keep that in mind too, because one thing I've learned on this journey is that some stuff we have to know what's ours and what's other people's, especially if we're around other people on a daily basis. And you don't need to be around other people. You can be on the phone with people. You can be communicating with somebody through email and picking up on their energy in a sense. So you have to be mindful of those things too, because I know for myself, I try to disconnect my energy from other people when I'm done dealing with them, so that way I try to stay in tune what's mine and what's not mine, should I say. But anyway, let me read this last card. I don't know how to say this. What is this? Chrysolola? Okay, anyway, it's a self-love card. I'll let you read it yourself. Anyway, tranquil and substance. Kaola encourages you to remain serene and strong during changes or challenges, discovering destructive emotional programming and increased energy eliminations. Self-understanding. You have infinite captivity for forgiveness. Love yourself if you cannot accept yourself. You cannot give love or accept the love of others. To heal your emotional black hole, connect to the universe's love that is inside of you. It never runs out. You can then give love out to the world and receive it in a and you can then give love out to the world and receive it in a never-ending flow. And then it says, forgiving yourself, accepting with quantuming what you cannot change. Y'all, I jacked that word up. Let go of the hurt and re-edify situations that can be healed. Be magnanimous, remain impartial, and speak your own truth, but recognize when you keep silent, okay? Magical rituals may keep you chained to the past. So, I know the other video that I had to redo over again, I just looked at this card and it almost looks like the universe, like the world, should I say, went from the solar system, looking at it, you know, if you just put it in a round shape form, when you're looking at it from the space back down to earth, that's kind of what it looks like. So anyway, but recognize when you keep silent. Magical rituals may keep you chained to the past. Whatever those rituals are, whether you telling yourself, you know, well, I'm mad at somebody because they did this, and that. And, you know, you don't really know the full story of whatever the situation may be. Or even, you know, sometimes we can concoct things within our own mindset because society has told us to do this. In other words, like if somebody is doing this, and that, well, let me catch an attitude with them and maybe I'll force them to teach them a lesson to not do it again, in a sense. And I know, and thank you, Spirit. And this Spirit just brought this to my attention. I know sometimes job has a habit of doing this. Sometimes they reprimand people because they're not conforming to what they want them to do. So they do things like lash out, give them a hard, whether it be silently lashing out at them, in a sense, giving them a hard time, or, you know, it's like putting them through that sort of initiation thing and giving them a hard time, like trying to teach them a lesson so that they don't do certain things again, in a sense. And, you guys know what I'm talking about, because sometimes companies are good at doing like little BS things like that, in a sense. So anyway, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. But nevertheless, sometimes people can have that mindset that they have and still carrying it on, okay? Like staying on that hamster wheel and keep repeating that same cycle over and over again. But, you know, this is the importance of, you know, because they're talking about self-love here, it's about, you can't expect love to come in when you're not, one, giving it to yourself. So therefore, if you're not giving it to yourself, you're not going to be able to show it to somebody else, in a sense. So if you're mad about something that somebody else is doing and you looking at them and you're mad at them, it's almost like you're mad at yourself, in a sense, if that makes sense. It's almost like a reflection, their reflection, okay? It's like a mirror reflection. Somebody looking at you angry, it's almost like they're not angry at you, they're angry with themselves for whatever reason, okay? But anyway, so it says, so whatever magical rituals that may be keeping you chained to the past, whether it's, again, keeping an attitude, or being upset because somebody's not doing what you want them to do, or having a mindset of listening to, I'm hearing like the old mindset of how a lot of patriarch type men think, like, oh, well, let me control a woman by doing this, and that, and that's going to get me my way. Anyway. So it says there may be past life traumas to heal around being a woman. Okay. So this is that feminine energy that needs to be healing. This is like the third card that talked about that feminine energy that needs to be healed. And I'm gonna hurry up because I'm not trying to make this a long video. So yes, if you are a man, yes, you are in a process of healing your feminine energy, because we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. So I say all that to say, if you are a man and you are walking around and you're angry, you're upset about something, or you can't let something go because you're still thinking with the same mindset, maybe your dad had that same mindset, or maybe your mom may have had that same mindset. They may have passed that down to you, or even if they didn't pass it down to you, it's something that you observed, you took on because you thought that that was the way that you needed to be in order to kind of get your way in certain circumstances. So whatever it could be anything. So that's just an example. So you have to be mindful that, you know, you can keep yourself caught up in the same cycle, or you can choose to get off that hamster wheel and change the cycle by doing something different. So anyway, there may be past life traumas to heal around being a woman, okay? So maybe in past life, you know, somebody done you dirty and so on and so on. And in this lifetime, you were meant to just heal that. I did tell you guys before, go watch that Living Single episode where Maxine went to the spiritual retreat because she acts more like a masculine energy in this lifetime. Well, excuse me, in the movie, the show, she was acting more like in her masculine energy. Kyle kept clashing with her because it was like two men clashing with each other. He wanted to be with her, but she couldn't let her guards down. She thought being tied up in work was her way of controlling things, and Kyle was just trying to love her and so on and so on. But anyway, it wasn't until she went to the spiritual retreat that she had an eye opener. So I'll suggest that, you know, I'm not telling you to, but go watch that episode where she went to the spiritual retreat for enlightenment. She realized what it was she was supposed to do and how she needed to soften a little bit. See, even for her, because she was operating in her masculine energy a lot, even though she was a female archetype, she needed to learn how to embrace more of her feminine energy, okay? So yes, sometimes our energy can be off and we need to embrace that feminine energy a little bit more. That's the energy of compassion, kindness, unconditional love, okay? And I'm not saying that, you know, you're supposed to go out here and show that amongst everybody, even the people who have hurt you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you just need to embody that energy, and your intuition is going to tell you when to extend it, when to hold it back, when to embrace it, when to let it go or let it flow, okay? Anyway, bitterness and self-doubt has no place in well-being. It is good to nourish your body with self-love and gentleness, okay? So that's all I got for y'all. So anyway, I wanted to get you that message. So remember, if you have been somebody who has been an underdog, you have been somebody who has been a black sheep, whether it be of the family or just in general, period, just know and keep in mind that just like King Richard had, King Richard had, God had placed something within his heart to let him know that his girls were going to be great. Just know and understand, if God has showed you something, you have to believe it. You have to believe by faith. Faith is the evidence of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So God want to know, where's your faith at? He showed you things that you're going to have, but sometimes people keep trying to control the situation because, again, it's that outdated mindset of how society has told us how to operate. Remember, it said we needed to get to A in order to get to B. Now we're at B. Now it's time to change the mindset. We no longer need what we needed in A. Now we got to do and move differently in B in order to move forward. So with that being said, King Richard had a purpose, and he had a goal of where he was headed to and where he was going, because again, God placed that in his heart. So with that being said, for all of you who has had this dream that God has placed within your heart, do not give up, keep hope alive, and stay faithful. In due time, like I said, these inheritance are, you know, I see that they're coming on the scene. How they're going to show up, when they're going to show up, I don't know, but release expectations to the outcome and the timing, okay? That will, if you're sitting there and should you keep hopeful? Yes, you should. But if something about releasing the timing and the expectations of how it's going to unfold, that release that energy up and allow it to flow. When we sit in there, when is it going to come? When is it going to come? That's constricting the energy. So it's important to let that energy go so that it can flow. Let go and let it flow. Okay. Anyway, so I wish you all much love, much light, and I say peace and blessings till the next time. Remember to always keep God first and foremost, and remember Christ, because he went to the cross for our sins. Love you. Bye.